Hi guys, welcome. As you can see today, I'm here with a very good company, it's my son, and we're here to teach you the very first steps and movements to begin with your Surfskate. Let's go for it. Okay, so let's start from the scratch, guys. So we'll start from no level at all, zero, then we go progressively moving on until we start pumping on your Surfskate. Yeah, let's go. So put your front foot on the Surfskate and push yourself forward with the back foot. Your front foot will go on just behind the front screws. That's where the track is. Don't put your foot too in the front, you can fall. Neither too in the back, you have to spread your legs a little bit. Just put it just a little bit behind the screws. That's where the track is, as I said before. And push yourself forward with the back foot that you put on here behind the screws, behind the back track on the tail. And push yourself forward just to know the feeling. So put your front foot and push yourself forward with your back foot and check if it's too loose, you have to tighten a little bit the tracks. So take your time, practice this a little bit, just go back and forward until you feel comfortable. And then once you feel comfortable, let's proceed to the next step. So let's proceed to the next exercise, which is change your body weight from your toes to your heels and vice versa to try to turn your Surfskate a bit. So put pressure on your toes and then on your heels, and you'll see how the Surfskate will turn from one side to another. Do this repeatedly, several times, just to feel comfortable with it. Here you can see me practicing with my son. You're going to need some help also, someone to push you so you can just focus on the heels and toes. So you've learned to push yourself forward and then turn by putting pressure on your toes and your heels. If you put pressure on your toes, you'll turn frontside, and if you put pressure on your heels, you will turn backside. Now let's add some body movement. Let's help with our front arm, our hand, and let's forget about our back arm for the moment. Let's start with our body straight stretch for now, just to take knowledge of the mechanic of the movement we're about to learn. If you goofy footer, you'll start like this, and if you're regular, like this. So what we are going to do is to put some pressure on our toes, and then adding with the movement, joining the movement of your front shoulder and arm up to your front side, where we are going to turn to. Then we do the same, but changing the pressure to our heels. So we're turning backside now. But let's turn the shoulder and the front arm back also. Let's put it all together and do this movement. One side to another, one side to another. The head is the axis of your body. Just rotate your shoulder and arm from one side to another and coordinate it with the heels and toes. So as you can see, your front hand is the steer of your body of the Surfskate. If you turn your hand, the body will follow. All the weight will go to the heels or to the toes, and the Surfskate will turn accordingly. Here you can see my son is trying to do the exercise, but he's changing the axis. You must put your head straight and do the exercises like I told you. Maybe some help of someone pushing you just for you to focus on the exercise will be great. So these are the first steps you should practice a while to start building up some solid fundamentals and to understand how the Surfskate works so you can advance to the next level. If you don't have no one to push you to help you to practice these exercises, just go on some soft lean plays just to get some speed enough to worry about the toes and heels and front, shoulder and arm until you have it coordinated, until you understand it, like this. So once you have understood the coordination of toes and heels and shoulder and arms and how the surfskate is turning, so let's put the rest of our body into the equation. So what we'll do now is our back arm will stay on this position, on surfing position, if you goofy footer the other way around. So let's bend our legs a bit and let's do the movement you learned before. Shoulder arm going along with the toes and heels, like toes, heels, shoulder, arm, toes, heels. And along with this, in every turn, let's do a compression of our legs followed by an extension. Like this, extend and compress, extend, compress, extend, compress, extend, compress. So now try to coordinate these three things like a dance, like if you're dancing with the flow. Go with the flow, just one side to another with your shoulder and arm, which is your steer. Compress and extend, compress and extend. Don't rush, just go from one side to another. Do long, large movements slowly with your arm, front arm, and your heels and toes. Okay, so we almost got it. So if you remember our position like this, if you're regular, or like this if you're goofy footer, your front arm is going to be your steer. It will allow you to turn one side to another. Remember your heels and toes to put pressure on it. If you're turning front side on your toes, if you're turning back side on the heels, remember to turn your shoulder and front arm onto the direction of your turn. Always take a look where you want to turn as well. And last, bend your knees and do the compression and extension movement in each turn. So now, once you have this, let's push ourselves on your own, like pumping. Pumping comes from your hips. Your hip is the one that's going to push. Once you come from a compression to an extension, you now will push yourself with your hips. That movement is a force that will move through your leg towards your foot, that will drag the surfskate from one side to another, building up the momentum that will transform into speed generation, which we call pumping. So the force you must do with your hips is like if you're dragging your front foot always from back and forward. Don't forget the rest of the tips we learned. The heels and toes and the front arm will help you on the making the force and the momentum for the pumping as well. The most difficult part of the pumping is to understand how to push with your hips. But you just remember what I told you, like it's like the feeling of dragging your foot. And there's a lot of exercises we can do. Let's do an exercise to understand this. Let's do a square. Imagine a square, and let's turn on each vertex of the square only with one big turn, with our hips, like this. So let's turn on each vertex. You have to compress, extend at the vertex, and push with your hips on each vertex. You are pumping yourself. So just compress and extend, compress, extend, and push with your hips. Drag your foot when you extend, so you gain speed. You have to practice a lot these movements until you got it. It's not as easy as it looks. So once you have it, you can even pump everywhere, including uphill. Check it out. Okay guys, so we've reached the end of our video. I hope it was useful for you and that you can learn from it. So get out there and practice. Don't forget, please subscribe to our channel and please follow me on Instagram. You have it here, Baleal Kanduma. So I'll see you soon and I hope to see you on the tracks.